Hi, my name is Juan Carlos Neira. I'm in English level 6 and 7, and I'm going to talk about a strange thing that happened almost 10 years ago in Gambita, Santander. Gambita is a town in the department of Santander in Colombia. It's the town where my grandmother grew up and spent her early years of her childhood. The town is between mountains, so it's difficult to access to the houses that are far from the town center. Most of the people who lives far from the center spend almost 30 minutes to get there, and my grandmother's old house was not the exception. Actually, there is only ruins of the house, but there is a relative of my grandmother who lives in the same land as they used to live. They had a house in the top of the hill where you can look the valley between the hills and feel the nature. Also, you can descry a large forest near the house. We went there to get my uncle ashes to his homeland, and we used it as an excuse to have vacations and spend time with the whole family. We were almost 30 people in that house for 1 week. We did some barbecues, tourism, and farm things in that week. When I was there, my cousins and I were 12 years old, so we enjoyed it together, play, and discover a lot of things. Until one day in the middle of the week, we were playing and this strange event happened. For being a town far from the big cities, they have myths, beliefs about the nature, and things that happen without explanation. That part of the land has one in concrete called the Moan Hole. The Moan Hole is a big hole in the middle of the forest near the house. There is no one who can find the bottom of that hole. They believe when someone throws something in that hole, the Moan comes, moves the natural forces, and gets angry with the people, to the point that he could take one of them into the deep of the hole as a punishment for the actions. And of course, with my cousins, we were curious and we throw a rock in that hole, but nothing happens until the sunset when everything starts. We were reunited with the family in the main house because there was the only place who has electricity. It started to get dark and we needed the light to get to our tents, had dinner, and talk with the family. So we were there and we heard a loud sound from the forest. It sounds like someone throws a huge rock against another part with an amplifier, so everyone in the house get quiet. We looked into each other's faces to find out what was that sound. The eldest of the family looked at us, the younger ones, and asked what you were doing in the forest this evening. We responded with scared faces that nothing, but I believe that the eldest ones didn't believe us because they went out and talked. Time we heard another sound closer to us. My mother cousins talked soft and said, better start to praying because we don't know what's going on and maybe we can end the night. Of course he was messing with us about the end of the night, but with the other thing was true. We didn't know what was happening. After those two sounds, the light went off and we get blind for a while. Of course, we, the younger ones, scream aloud, but the eldest ones scream a little bit also. The strange thing was that Neira's house has light and ours didn't, so we started to suspect that the three events were connected. The weather started to change with a cold wind from the forest, so we were so scared that we have to tell what we did in the evening. The eldest scolded us about it because it was the reason that the cold wind, the strange sound, and the noises. After the argue, the eldest went to the Moan hole to see if there was something strange. It started to rain so hard that we heard if someone walks and scratched with the nails the roof. My grandmother and her sister started to pray and the others too, but nothing changes. The others who went out in the rain, they told us that when they arrived in the hole, they saw a strange shadow near the hole, and also they saw a strange rock near the entrance of the hole. When the rain passed, we heard the wolves howling and we get more scared. The rain stopped, the wind stopped blowing, but the electricity didn't come, so we have to stay the whole night with the moonlight and our lanterns. But everyone was so afraid that another thing could happen, so none of us went to bed early. The next morning, we were to the Moan hole and saw the same rock that we threw into it, and we were so scared, so we thought that everything that happened was for that reason. But we react and saw again that rock, and that rock wasn't the rock that we threw into the hole, because our rock has a little white points and this one doesn't have it. So we said, if our rock is still in the Moan hole, what was the strange noises we heard into the forest and near us? And actually, this is the day that we don't know what was those sounds, and we don't have a reasonable explanation for that. But for the other things, the rain, the wind blowing, and maybe the sounds we heard in the roof, we have an explanation. We create beliefs because we don't like believing that the universe is random, says Adam White at Northwestern University in Illinois. He explains that human being believes in ghosts, paranormal things, and myths because we don't believe that everything happens for a reason and not for a paranormal situation that a ghost wants to try to mess it up with us. So, in a few words, we want to explain everything that happened in our life with paranormal situation or something like that because we don't believe that everything that could happen is random. Now, the explanation of the events. The wind was the announcement for the rain. The noises we heard in the roof was the leaves falling against the roof, and we were so scared that we believed that someone were above us. The shadow in the forest, there is another explanation how our brain works. When we thought that something paranormal tries to communicate with us, our brains tries to picture a shadow of something that you know, in this case of a man, but it just could be an animal passing by, and we believe that it was a man. So everything have an explanation, but the only thing that we don't have an explanation is for the loud sound from the forest and the other near us. Maybe it was the moan, maybe it was an animal, maybe it was something else, but we never would have an explanation for that, and maybe it will be an strange event for me and for my family.